Hey, what's up, diggers? Prospector here with Watcher Realms. As you can see, we're looking at Wrath today. I'm doing a hero guide / review of the hero, and if you're interested in that, stick around. Without further ado, let's dig in. Alright, so I'm kind of surprised that I haven't done a guide on this guy yet. I feel like everybody's done a guide on Wrath, but I want to have my own take on it here. So to start off with this hero, I want to look at the player ratings. Faction Trial, he's obviously amazing. That's completely accurate. Void Rift, he's very useful. Immortal Codex. Your Dungeon 2, Tide, these are all accurate. Artifact Material Raid, I think I would give him a 5 in Artifact Material Raid. So it's pretty accurate. Gold raid, EXP raids, his AoE damage is kind of limited, so he's not the best at that. Guild Boss, I also would think I'd give him like a 4.9 or to a 5, so it's pretty close. Gear Dungeon 1, he's useful. Gear Raid 2 and 1, so Gear Raid 2, it's, I mean, he can be useful there, probably better than a 3.9. Gear Raid 1, surprisingly, you can use fighters down in the backside behind the wall, and Wrath is really good at this because he does do an AoE damage, and I think he deserves way more than a 3.7. Arena AoE DPS, it's probably pretty close to accurate, 3.84. Gear Raid 3, pretty useless. I mean, you can't even hit anything, so an anti-air DPS arena is going to be the same thing. Alright, now to go over his talent. Wrath's crit rate plus 15%. A crit hit has a 20% chance to attack 2 times quickly. This can help with generating rage. It also makes it easier to build up the hero, especially in the early game. For the hero details, you can see that crit rate is placed right in there, so you only have to build the 85 in your gear, and you'll get him to 100% crit rate. He does have very nice HP and very nice attack, especially for an epic, and especially for a fighter. See, his defense is pretty average, maybe a little above average for a epic fighter. Magic res cost is 16. That's actually kind of low for a fighter, especially of his quality. Block is 2, it's standard. Redeployment time is 60. That's pretty standard. Attack interval is standard, 2.6. Attack speed at 100, standard as well. And then we know we got that 50% crit rate buff. Healing effect, rage regen, and auto is hit 13, which is also pretty standard. Now, to go over his skills, his basic attack is a physical attack. He does normal damage, so he's not gaining any benefits or bonuses to any different kind of special damage types. The basic attack deals with 100% damage to an enemy. It goes up to 110%. Soul Basher, for every 4 attack launched, the next attack deals 60% additional damage. Just free damage, and I think it goes up to 100% extra damage. And now we're going to go to his ultimate. It's an auto cast, increases damage by 30% for 30 seconds. Additionally, every 3 attack launch triggers an extra attack to up to 5 enemy units in range, dealing 90% damage. And that goes up to 95, 100, 105, 115%, and the skill cost goes down another 100. It's pretty quick how fast this can actually regenerate. It is actually very important, and I'll show you in just a minute why. He is a Nightmare Faction Lord. I wonder if I can see it from here. There's a lot of faction members that can really benefit from his Lord skill. We have Admiral Claw. I'll just go right here, this works for me. Volca, Arrogance. Abomination is a fusible hero. He's one of the only he is the only fusible legendary hero. Lugaru. We got Valeria as a super good hero. So you put him next to Valeria in Arena. Absolutely. Magnus isn't so great. Admiral Claw isn't the greatest. Lust, though, you can use her for Guild Boss. He's an amazing Guild Boss hero, especially for just being there as a Lord. Another fusible hero, which is very good hero, is going to be Komodo, and because his ultimate offers that bleed, and then you can use a Scarlet Hunt on Wrath, and that'll help with extra damage. It's pretty good. We've got Deimos on here as well, or Deimos. He's a super good epic fighter for Guild Boss. I think he's pretty much the best. He beats out most legendaries as well. And he also beats out Wrath, but it helps to have his Lord bonus. But now, going to his Lord bonus, one of the biggest things that's really neat about this hero is his Lord skill, and he's for the Nightmare Faction, and they hand you these heroes. They give you, all you have to do is fuse Abomination, you get Wrath. What else do you get actually in there? the Nightmare faction that's free. Well, Komodo is a fusible hero. We have Navros is a fusible hero. Greed is given to you as a login reward. He's a very good hero. And going next to Wrath, it does help. Let's see who else. Volca is you receiver from the storyline. So you can see you can build a whole Nightmare guild boss team just off the stuff that you can get for basically for free, and it can be achievable by most players. He's also homing Salazar and Torador, and these are all extremely good heroes. As a Lord bonus, every time a faction team member is deployed, all deployed faction team members gain 5%, 10%, 20%, and 35% attack speed. That means you need at least 4 to get to that 35%, and it scales with the more you put on there, obviously. So you get extra 5 when you put 2, 10 when you put 3, 15 when you put 4. Respectively up to 35%, but their healing received are reduced by 20%. There's kind of a caveat to that where you receive less healing to get his amazing Lord skill. 10% basic attributes to all allies in the faction. That's pretty standard for an epic. Before I get to the awakenings, hold on, I want to show you something about Wrath. You go to your daily sign-in. I'm gonna have to go all the way back. 1 through 30, you're gonna get Wrath on your second week. And you also get Greed on your 4th. But on the second week, you get Wrath. And then on your, what is that, 6th week? Yep, 6th week, you're gonna get another Wrath. And you can use that as a Wrath Soulstone. The reason this is important is because you want to make sure if you're using epic Soulstones on Wrath, you only want to bring them to Awakening 4. That way you can use this free one here, otherwise this just goes to waste. Okay, awakenings. In the first awakening, you trigger Soul Basher, guarantees a crit hit. And which Soul Basher is for every 4 attack launch, the next attack deals 100% additional damage. So even if you don't max out his crit, you're guaranteed to get that crit hit with his Awakening 1. Awakening 2, he gets extra crit damage, good damage stat. Epics need it quite a bit. Awakening 3, inflicts burning on targets that take AoE damage from heavy blow. Burning deals 20% continuous magic damage per second. Burning effects from different sources can coexist. And this is when he does his ult, and his ult is very low cost. So he's going to be doing burning on everybody quite often. Awakening 4, he gets penetration, ignore a little bit of defense. And the big one, and I know it's going to be hard to wait, and I got it to be, I'm extremely guilty, I did not wait. I had epic Soulstones, and I was playing when the game kind of just launched, and it was essential for me to get him to Awaken 5 as soon as possible, because it was helping in Arena. What Awakening 5 does is when heavy blow is triggered, the hero restores HP equal to 30% of the damage dealt. Heavy blow is being that ultimate. So, and he does a lot of damage, and he just keeps healing himself up. All right, now going over to the gear sets. I'm just gonna pull this up. There's a lot of them to go over now. Number 1 gear set for the premium. We're gonna start the premium sets. It's gonna be Infernal Roar. His ultimate is based off of his basic attack, and it gives that extra 40% damage. It's just impossible to beat. In a long fight, maybe in Guild Boss, you could opt for Soulbound Arcana, but most of us are kind of limited on this gear, and it's best to have the mix of the two just because it's hard to gear all your heroes and what you need. And another one is Aegis Wrath. He builds up crit damage. I'm not a huge fan of Aegis Wrath, but it's okay. Having him in double or triple attack percentage accessories is probably the best way to go, and then building up his crit damage over time as you're going. It's just a pure raw damage set, and it's really hard to get your stats high enough to have that damage and make up for the loss of having just 40 or 50% from Infernal Roar or Soulbound Arcana. As for the mid-tier sets, early to mid, if you're going to be completing sets, Night Terror increases damage by 25% for 3 seconds after making crit hits. It's pretty easy to get his attack speed down, or attack interval down to 1.5, which means you can hit a crit, and he'll keep it on pretty much all the time and have this 25% boost. Another good set to use for him, because he is the type of fighter that is to go on the front lines, is the Glacier. And you can try to pump up his damage and then pump up his HP as well. And when you get extra HP out of him, because he does have a high base HP, and gains an attack bonus equal to 6% max HP when deployed. It's a very good set for him. As for the Gear Dungeon 1 and 2 sets, there's not really much that I would actually suggest. Maybe on the left side with Wicked Vengeance. But other than that, I'd stay away from it. It's not going to really help him that much. The problem with Hell's Lament is it's only his when the ultimate is triggered, so it's only when his ult's going on. He's got a very, like, a decently long ultimate, and with Hell's Lament, the bonus that you get from 30% to damage and crit damage by 40% lasting for, it's only for 8 seconds, and Wrath's ultimate lasts way longer than that, so it doesn't really help him out in the long run. Okay, on the left side, there's only one real winner here, and for most fighters and most, pretty much any DPS damage dealers, the top set is going to be Warlord, with an attack percentage boost of 25 and attack speed of 30. After that, we go down to the basic sets, or you could use Wicked Vengeance as well from Gear Raid, Gear Dungeons 1 and 2. But then we go on to the basic sets, and you're looking at Calamity as being your next best bet. Obviously, you get that attack boost. Epics need a lot of attack percentage boost because their base attack is much lower typically than legendaries, so it's hard to get past those defensive stats. And then after that, I would suggest getting up Annihilating Might if you can't get Warlord or Calamity completed. For the cheaper sets, you're looking on the left side for Savage Strike. And then the right side, you want to go with Twisted Blade. Stats before gear sets, remember that. So I do have an example kind of built up. I moved some gear around to show up what he might look like in the end game. And that is an Infernal Roar set mixed with Warlord. And I have him built up to about 40k HP, 17.2k attack. He's over his crit rate because just the nature of those pieces that I'm using, they have high crit rate on them. And about 350 crit damage. 350 crit damage is great as long as you're getting over that 14 to 15k attack. So on the right side, an attack bonus, crit rate, crit damage, attack speed, rage regen. You do like to have rage regen because as long as the more often his ult is up, the better he keeps himself alive with his lifesteal. On the middle piece, the amulet, we have crit damage with attack speed, crit rate, attack bonus, and rage regen. And on the ring, it's attack bonus, attack speed, crit rate, crit damage. Ideally, this would be another piece with rage regen down here, get him up to about, 55-60%, and then your Pantheon can take it to 100. And on the left side, instead of focusing on any kind of rage regen or anything like that, I went for HP bonus because I want to get his HP up so he can take a hit, so he has time to tank and swing, and then steal some our life steal and keep himself alive. The same thing, crit rate, crit damage, attack bonus, HP bonus, attack speed, crit rate, crit damage, and HP bonus. Now as for the artifacts, there's a few good options. Obviously you're looking at probably the best. He does have decent stats for an epic, so you can get a Wailing Skull on him, and he can do a ton of extra damage with that Wailing Skull. The Wailing Skull might actually be doing more damage than Wrath himself when it does show up. Another good option for him is like a Lunacy Visor. You can bring up that block to 3, and he also will give him some more lifesteal as well, and you can get the stats out of the mythic piece. But as for legendary artifacts, the Watchguard's Ambition. Each basic attack launch has a 12% chance of triggering another basic attack. This is very good. You can help him get his rage regen up, get his ultimate going again, and he's just going to be hitting again and doing more damage. In the really early game, if you pull Nightmare Shadow and you're still having a problem getting your crit rate up, even with his 15% boost, you can go with the Nightmare Shadow. It gives him 5% for every 5 attacks, and you can stack up to 3. So within 15 attacks, he's getting another 15% boost. I believe this maxes out at 30%. Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure it does. And that'll help you get your crit rate up where you need it to be. For the epics, the epic artifacts, Keen Wisdom, I think it's probably the only real usable epic artifact, and it does give him a very nice boost to his attack, which is also, it's always good to get past those defenses of your enemies. As to where to use Wrath, the truth is you can kind of use Wrath everywhere. Except for obviously Gear Raid 3. Gear Raid 2 he's actually pretty good at. He can tank and he can keep himself alive. He should be able to take those hits. If he's not taking the hits as in replace of a defender, just go ahead and bring up his HP, maybe put an HP percentage ring or amulet on him and work with that instead. But I'm actually going to go into stage 19 just to show how well he can stay alive sitting there and see if he can do the job. Alright, we're just gonna put him down like right here. Here he comes. His ultimate's active. Look at, he's just gonna take him out by himself. You don't have to put anybody else down. Obviously this hero is built really well Another good place to use him is going to be Artifact Material Raid. I think he's going to help people a lot in this. I did test him out at stage 18. You can be your only hero geared, just put a healer next to him and he can solo what's going on there, or you can put Oleg in the middle and he'll sit there and he'll take him out. And I'm going to show that, demonstrate that right now. You do have to keep in mind that this, like I said, they are in very good gear, and this is stage 18, but the idea is just to show you what they can do for being free heroes. If you take it down to like stage 15, stage 16, you could probably do it just by himself. The other good place you can put him on is you are using all kinds of other fighters, which is what most people are going to have to do, is you put him up in this corner and he'll stop these enemies all by himself. You don't even have to have that good a gear on him. He just needs to have enough HP to stay alive. You can see how much damage that Wailing Skull is doing. It's insane. But he'll kill these enemies here. But yes, the last time that I did this, he did bring it down to 0, just him and Oleg. I'm gonna put it on 2x, try to get it there a little quicker. Here comes that Wailing Skull, just mow him down. It's a little hard to do it as a solo because every time those guys come in from the right side, they heal themselves up. He's banging away at him, keeps himself alive. Wrath is just amazing. This might be tough. There you go, got him. See? Oleg and Wrath. Add Greed up in that little corner over there and you're set. Alright, faction trials for Nightmare. I can't show you that he's on there, but he does do an amazing job. He was essential for my account getting it done. I still use him on the faction trials. In the basic trials, well, he can sit there by one of the portals and guard your portal. Tide, he's okay at. Tide's BP check, and he's an epic, and it's hard to get his BP up past like 65, 70k. So it's kind of typical that you don't use epics in that zone. But early on to the mid game, yeah, he's going to do really well there as well. Immortal Codex, I can't really think of anything that he really sticks out on, but he's usable. And Guild Boss, of course, he's going to be amazing on Guild Boss. Anyways, guys, that's it for my video. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Wrath is definitely an S tier epic hero. He's one of the best fighters in the game, alongside Deimos. Probably, in my opinion, the only one that probably passes him up. That would be Deimos. And I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Keep digging.